In this video, we're going to show you how to hook up a separate carburetor from the primer bulb. Okay, so this is our imitation gas tank. This is actually just water and food coloring. And this is not a carburetor that I will use in the future. This is just to show as an example of how to hook this up for those of you that are intimidated, okay? Now, looking at this primer bulb, a lot of you have seen this. One's short and one's long. Normally, on an original factory primer bulb, this one will be labeled as short or in, okay? In. And it does not have that designation on here. But what that means is when you push the primer bulb in like this, you're pushing air out. So you're pushing it out, the long one. And then when you let go, you're sucking it in the short one, okay? So let me show everybody how this works. Pushing out the long one, sucking in the short one, pushing out the long one, sucking in the short one, pushing, sucking, okay? So you're drawing fuel in through the short one. So the way that that works is that the fuel is coming in, is coming from the carburetor. So fuel filter hooks up to the carburetor and then goes in and gets sucked into the primer bulb. And then it gets released back into the tank. Okay, so the part of the primer bulb that hooks up to the return tank is the long one. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook up the return to the long one. I'm going to try to zoom in just a little bit so you can see. So you can see that the long one is hooked up to the fuel filter, which is the return. Now we're going to take, because we're drawing fuel into the primer bulb, the short one means in. So we're going to hook it up to the carburetor. Now, a lot of you want to know, well, I don't know which one. Okay, let's think of this one here as the top. If there was a primer bulb attached to this carburetor, it would be up here. The primer bulb is always attached to the part where there is the circle diaphragm on there and the gasket. The bottom one is just a gasket and the pump. This one here where the springs and everything happens, okay? So you'll notice that when you look, one is higher than the other. Okay, so this is the top, this is the bottom. This is the part where the fuel comes into. This is the part that always hooks up to the fuel filter, and it will be thicker or at an angle as you see here. Okay, so therefore this part hooks up to the fuel filter, which is this one right here. This hooks up to the fuel filter, which we'll do that right now. And I can't do everything with one hand. I'll try to though. Oh, that went in just a little bit too easy. There might be air bubbles because of that. Now, this part of the carburetor, hold on. The top part will hook up to the short. Okay. There we go. Now, we're going to watch the fuel flow happen exactly as it is that I described it. I'm going to zoom out. We're going to have a drink. Rum and Coke. Okay, so when I let go of the primer bulb, you should see the fuel coming out of this one here, going into the carburetor. And when I push down, you should see the fuel going in this direction into the fuel tank. Okay? So, let's watch this happen. Oh, I chose blue food coloring so you can see it better against the yellow. Hold on a minute. Okay, we're back. I had to change this line because it absolutely needs to be airtight. If you see air coming into the fuel line there, that means there is air and so there's some type of disconnection between the filter and the carburetor. Okay, and this air is not good. It should be a solid fuel flow. Now, I changed that just so we can have an airtight seal, and now we do, so let's continue. There we go. Once we have established that the primer bulb can get full, as you see it right there, once you see that it's full, then that means you have a good primer bulb and there is no other leaks. Now, I chose blue food coloring on a white surface just so we could see the fuel coming through the lines, and also if there's any leaks underneath. And there's none. See that? So, when you rebuild your carburetor, this needs to be airtight. This part here with the gaskets are need to be airtight. This part here with the gaskets are need to be airtight, as I had explained in previous videos. So, when you look at this entire thing, there is no leaks anywhere. Everything is perfect. The fuel coming from the fuel filter flows through into the carburetor solid, and it comes out of the carburetor back into the primer bulb solid, and leaves back into the return solid. Okay, so when you're doing a cold start on your small engine, whether it's a weed whacker, chainsaw, blower, anytime that you have a primer bulb, when you go to start it, give it about 10 good pushes, and then you will have established a solid fuel flow. And don't forget, because it's mixed gas, you need to shake it. Whether you're pouring the gas in, if this was the container, you need to shake the container. And then if this was the machine, you need to shake the machine. Shake the machine before you hit your primer bulb. So that way all the sediments and stuff that may be sitting in the bottom can get sucked up. Depending on how clean your gas tank is and how clean the fuel is and the oil is that you mixed it with. Hopefully you mixed it correctly. But when you look at this entire thing, this is exactly how your fuel system works. This is the correct way to assemble your carburetor and hook it up to the primer bulb that is separate, okay?